Welcome to the Curator's Corner on Museum Monday on the final week of the virtual pilgrimage. I am Sarah Bone, a park ranger at Manzanar National Historic Site. I am also a collateral duty museum assistant. In the National Park Service, one of the ways we preserve America's stories is to preserve the items that represent them. We are grateful that many people have chosen to donate their family items to the NPS to safeguard the past and educate present and future generations. This week's theme is reconciliation and identity. In 2019, Manzanar received this unsolicited donation in the mail. It is a hand-carved wooden plaque depicting the kanji characters for Gamon. A translation for Gamon is to endure difficult situations with dignity and patience. The carver, Jim Ichinaga, included a letter in which he mentions having donated a similar plaque to the museum in McGehee, Arkansas, which presents the history of Rower and Jerome. The U.S. government incarcerated Jim and his family in Jerome during World War II. In his letter, he states that the sacrifices of those incarcerated inspired him to take up wood carving to express the hardships his family met. He explains that he chose Gamon because he believes it is the best description of the spirit of Japanese Americans who were denied their freedom during those dark days of war. He adds, quote, "Although the Gamon kanji was made recently, the injustices will always remain." James Kanakichi Ichinaga and Kiyono Nakano Ichinaga lived in Tulare, California, where James owned Jim's Chop Suey Cafe. Their family grew to include 10 children by 1940. He was a leader in the small Japanese American community in and around Tulare. Jim Ichinaga was a middle child and third son born in 1930. He dreamed of attending Cherry Avenue Junior High School. He would never get that chance. In the aftermath of Pearl Harbor, the Ichinaga family would see curfews and travel restrictions. In May 1942, the U.S. government would force them to leave their home and business for the Fresno Assembly Center. Jim remembers this being the first time he ever saw his father cry. Jim looked up to his father as the rock of their family. The U.S. government took them to Jerome in the fall. About Jerome, located in Arkansas on swampland near the Mississippi River, Jim says, quote, "If I were ever in charge of punishing a group of people, this is the place I would send them." End quote. The government quickly learned that Jim's father was skilled in operating a restaurant business. He was placed in charge of mess hall operations at Fresno, and at Jerome he oversaw 48 mess halls, feeding more than 7,500 people a day. Jim Ichinaga remembers how crowded it was to fit their family of 12 into a barracks. The extreme weather, the bugs and snakes, and the barbed wire, sentry posts, and military police. The Ichinagas began to go their separate ways as they left Jerome. Some of the older children found jobs and educational opportunities in Nebraska and Chicago. James Kanakichi decided to move the rest of his family to western Nebraska to sharecrop in April 1944. After 1 year, Jim's father got a federal job at the nearby Sioux Ordnance Depot in Sidney, Nebraska. Jim recognized the irony that the U.S. government would not trust his father to run his Chop Suey Cafe in Little Tulare, California, but the same government allowed him to work in a federal ordnance depot. Jim attended Sidney High School while his father ran the officers' mess hall. The Ichinagas returned to Tulare in 1946. Jim graduated from Tulare High School, and his older brother and father ran a new cafe at the former location of Jim's Chop Suey. Jim and his siblings had successful educations, careers, and families, but the incarceration experience would never leave them. After Jim retired from the aerospace industry, he started to realize that fewer and fewer people around him remembered the incarceration that he and his family endured. Jim and his 10 siblings joined together on a mission to tell their family stories. They wrote their personal stories and combined them in this book. Jim's younger brother, Monty, was gracious enough to donate it to the Manzanar Library. In it, Jim recognizes that the stories of the siblings are not the same, but are always true, and that their combined experience may be of interest to more than just the younger generations of the Ichinaga family. Many different people from different generations have gone about reconciling the U.S. government's incarceration of Japanese Americans in different ways. As with this summer's Tadaima, pilgrimages are large acts of bringing people together to honor the past and make sure stories are carried on and learned from in the future. The annual Manzanar pilgrimage has served generations of people from all backgrounds in this way. For Jim Ichinaga, reconciliation and identity are a simple and personal act. He created this plaque and sent it to places where its meanings would be understood. He put his memories into this piece of wood and sent himself back in time. This history is a piece of who he is. Jim Ichinaga is on a personal mission to protect the next generation from the same injustices he and his family experienced. Thank you for joining us for this week's Curator Corner. You can learn more about Manzanar National Historic Site through our website, our Facebook and Instagram accounts, and our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please contact me, Sarah Bone, via email. It has been an honor to participate in Tadaima. Stay safe, and thank you.